through on the X that you can set up for is really annoying for that hero. And then generally you can do okay on lane. But yeah, like outside of that, maybe this Kunkka is just a hard hero to answer on mid right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is also the same patch people were playing like first phase Razors and stuff, right? Even
Yeah, yeah,
DP
yeah.
was making
10
a bit of a
seconds
comeback.
remaining.
So it's like, I don't think Kunkka should be that hard to answer in
5
the current
seconds
meta.
remaining.
That's why I'm interested to see what they're doing with it. It makes me think they have some obvious flex potential, or maybe they'll play it carry.
Okay. My gut from what I've seen of Kunkka is that I think this hero is just like I think it's just a solid mid pickup because like I just
Mhm.
never see it really lose its lane, you know, like I never get it see it so shut out because it would take some sort of range hero that constantly
Quincy
harasses,
turn to
but
pick.
then he's got X marks TP back and water runes and bounty runes. I feel like he just always walks away with winning his lane outright off of CS or breaking even, you know.
10
That's
seconds remaining.
probably true, yeah. I wonder how much of that is just every
5
mid these days,
seconds
though.
remaining.
That is true. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, Kunkka definitely excels with, like you're saying, the X to Fountain, these extra refills. He's super tanky, pretty high regen strength hero. So he can definitely benefit from it. But I also wonder how much of it's just like, if you have two good mid players, I feel like most times they mostly free farm
Dire
nowadays,
team pick.
Yeah.
outside of somebody just clowning on somebody.
Yeah. I'm just excited for a new patch where mid, you know, becomes a little bit more skill based in that regard. I'm excited to get excited about the mid matchup again. You know, be like, oh shit, let's see what happens between these two mid laners. Because right
10
now,
seconds
just
remaining.
I just kind of like yeah glaze over it. Like, oh yeah,
5
okay, that
seconds
matchup,
remaining.
sure, we'll see who wins in CS by looking at the board. But otherwise, I'm watching the side lanes.
Yeah, which I think we talked about. It has its own pros and cons. But I think, yeah, I think they are going to go in the direction of tweaking it a bit back towards higher skill in mid. So your prayers might be answered.
All right, so Earth Spirit, good follow up to Kunkka. Good way to be able to start fights. They have to deal with the Shadow Demon, right? You need a hero that gets to the back line. You can't just let a Shadow Demon just sit in the back and choose his timings to disrupt, right?
Yeah, it is a hero. It's another beefy strength dude. So you're giving him some extra viability on terms of this soul catcher doing a lot of work, these poison stacks. But generally, yeah, it's pretty favorable for Earth Spirit, just in terms of getting in there, backline, silencing
Dire
people up.
team pick.
Um, Nyx, interesting pick. I mean, this is a very like a different style draft than I saw Zoomers playing
Okay.
in the previous league. So it's kind of interesting to see them go for this.
10 seconds remaining.
Like I wouldn't say Nyx is that
5
much of like a
seconds
Z
remaining.
freak hero, I guess. Um,
I don't like Nyx Assassin when the enemy team's got beefcakes. You know, like sure, like Spike Carapace might feel good against they've got a
Quincy
bunch of
Cruz
damage that
turn
they
to
can't
pick.
control, and I think it's probably like the number one answer is Snapfire, right? Is just stopping his globs is really good with Spike Carapace, but I feel like these are all beefy boys that Nyx's lack of damage feels real bad against.
I tend to agree.
10 seconds remaining.
I mean, I think this hero excels when
5
he's
seconds
one,
remaining.
in my opinion. You take him early, so he's blocking a lot in the
Dire
draft.
team back.
So even if he ends up in these types of games, like this one, where his core matchups are absolutely terrible, that you
Mm-hmm.
still feel okay because you got draft value out of him, right? When you take him later like this, you don't get that. So you generally take him later when you have super good matchups. You see some Storm Spirit or some dude like this where multiple spells and the stuns are
10
insanely valuable.
seconds remaining.
Yeah.
But Kunkka's honestly one of the better mids versus Hero in
5
terms of
seconds remaining.
what do I care about his interactions? They're
Yeah.
annoying, but at the end of the day, you're an early BKB strength hero who's just gonna right click people for most of your damage.
Quincy Cruz
So I don't know.
turn to battle.
It's disruptive for the two QC supports, but I don't think it's debilitating. And I don't even think this Earth Spirit matchup is that bad. Like generally the best tool versus Nyx is long duration silence. Um, which Earth Spirit is one of the few subs who has them. So It's a weird
10
pick.
seconds remaining.
It's also fairly slow and greedy with Shadow Demon. Like, these are
5
two
seconds
slow
remaining.
supports in
Yeah.
terms of they need level 4 to 5 to really do anything. Even on lane, the early lane impact's extremely minimal until level 3, I would say. Um, the QC subs are just going to out-tempo them pretty much the entire early game.
Dire team
It's,
ban.
it's more likely to get early level 6 too because their side lanes are looking stronger. Like they have this counter pick on Wraith King, they have another counter pick on Last. So they're going to be able to counterpick Mars. They had this counterpick on Wraith King. They're setting up both their silence to have the tempo against two supports, which are already kind of slower. So this game is
10
conceptually looking a
seconds
bit rough for
remaining.
Zoomers right now. They need something that can win mid
5 seconds remaining.
and like control the early game, which is not that easy. And this Kunkka can still is not even necessarily going mid. It's actually a decent matchup versus Wraith King. So
Yeah. The slowness of the supports and their lack of damage, I'm feeling so good about Venomancer in this game. Like, my biggest concern whenever I play Venomancer is that period of time where
10
it's like
seconds
I'm level
remaining.
6 to level 9, and I'm not quite like at that point
5
where I'm
seconds
tanky
remaining.
enough to survive through their initiation, you know? I'm like, I
Dire
don't feel
team
quite good enough. Like, one core stuns me and support does some damage, and I might die. You know, especially if I don't get off like Hooded Defiance or something. But I'm looking at these supports and I'm like, man, free game. All I have to do is like, if they go on me, I'm going to get off my spells for sure. I might die, but I'll get off my spells for sure. The only chance that doesn't happen is like the Blink Mars. Like that's the only timing I'm scared of right now. Oh, they're doing mid Mars?
so that is a very like draft salvaging pick.
Okay.
Because they're kind of just saying like, yeah, like there wasn't really a lot of value they're going to get out of this Mars,
10
and this
seconds
Nyx
remaining.
lane was looking absolutely abysmal. So this Darkseer 1 helps
5
fix the
seconds
Nyx lane a
remaining.
lot, because Darkseer Nyx is a very strong lane. You can do a lot with it versus almost anything outside of the hard counter picks like Bloodseeker. I mean, Jug is okay.
Now select your
I think that
heroes.
pick's fine, but honestly, it's not like the end of the world. I think Darkseer can do quite well in this lane. Um, but one, it helps fix this early Nyx tempo issue, and two, it gives their cores a way to actually combat this Veno.
Yeah.
So it does a lot for their draft, but is it too little too late? I think QC's more robust and they can definitely destroy the early game. Like I could see this game just being like 3 or 4K up at 10 minutes easily. They play the lanes really well. But if that doesn't happen, it might get to a point where it becomes a little hard to fight. And I think Zoomers will eventually outscale them. Like their true scale in the late game is pretty insane in terms of Shadow Demon
10
with his spells
seconds
against
remaining.
Juggernaut, and this Nyx Darkseer with the Wraith King double
5
life. Like the
seconds
double life's
remaining.
pretty good this game too.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll win ultra late if it gets there on even footing, but it might be pretty difficult for them to get there.
All right, so lane's going to be super important, which I think we kind of already knew with the Venomancer pickup, but
Yep.
now with just the way things are shaping up, like Juggernaut is a safe lane carry, like you cannot be feeding this guy. But
Exactly.
I don't think they should, right? Darkseer Nyx. That should be.
I mean, they can. It's a snap juggling, so like there's some high kill threat, especially if you get level 2 first. That's the biggest thing to look for.
It's the leaping ballerina combo.
Yeah,
Juggernaut has
I
his
mean,
spin and he gets a cookie and he leaps into the air.
it ain't no joke.
Yeah.
It's a lot of damage level 2. It's basically a guaranteed kill. You can't even really TP out of it if you just save the cookie a little. So it's really about how Darcy or Nyx play these first 2 waves. I expect them probably to just play the super conservative and go for the like insta wave cut pull. But that is something like Yawar could run and help stop that, right? You just kill the Nyx. So there's a lot of like little things that will decide that lane for the 5 or 6 minutes. And to me, this game's really about this. It's the 2 offlaners in this game. The Veno and Darkseer are what are going to determine like who's controlling the first 10 to 15 minutes, which is going to open up room for their carry, and then it's going to allow either team's carry to get farther ahead, which is what's going to eventually control the Roshan into the mid game. But to me, it's about these offlaners.
All right. Well, let's see how they do. So we're going to have a early smoke up for the Zoomers. Is there any chance of lane swapping shenanigans? 'Cause it seems like right now
Uh,
Darkseer's running top. Do they want to dodge?
I mean, they're thinking they can try. I don't think this aggro try is good for Dire. If that's what they're
Yeah.
thinking, which looks like what they're thinking, but I don't think it's gonna work out for them. Because I don't think Darkseer ever trying to think how this like lane goes, but I don't think he actually does so well that he's gonna destroy a Veno in his safe lane because he shoves the lane in pretty fast.
Yeah.
And he blocked the big camp, which is also really weird. Maybe he's just gonna like play this lane to CS. He's not even gonna shell it or something. Some new tech. I don't know. But the thing is, Veno will free farm this lane almost no matter what.
Right.
So they can maybe duel. If they're doing dual lanes, it becomes more interesting. Because then maybe this Nyx Darkseer can kill the Veno. I don't know. This off lane is not that easy for Wraith King. That's the part I'm worried about.
Yeah. I can see, okay, so we already leveled Disruption, so I feel like the Wraith King would normally be terrified of Juggernaut Snapfire. But maybe with Disruption, this is going to be okay. No, they're going to try lane. Okay.
Yeah, they're just aggroing it. And this Shadow Demon went boots, so they're like all in on controlling these pulls, maybe killing an early support, like getting the lane back. And I think the correct response from QC is just 2v1 this Darkseer. Like, this guy's going to get absolutely shit on.
Yeah.
He will get basically 0 CS. You deny everything here. You pull the lane back. Like, Kizu's going to be able to pull this back. The lane's going to be super far up. And this Darkseer's going to get absolutely nothing. This is generally how the 2v1 should go. This is the downside of tri-laning in the current state of the game. They 2v1 your other dude. In a theoretical world, he gets nothing. Which is way worse than like whatever you're getting out of the tri-lane most of the time. That's what I'm kind of worried about here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so weird because you want the for a Darkseer, he wants to push the lane in, but in this 1v2, you usually want to try and keep the lane as close to your tower as possible. So it feels like I don't know what your game plan could be as Darkseer at this point.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. I also don't really understand why he would block his own big camp if he's playing safe lane Darkseer.
Yeah.
Because in almost all situations, this lane is either going to shove by your hand, or the enemy's going to do something like here, 2v1, where they're wanting to pull it back because you're in a 2v1.
Yeah.
And in either of those situations, you want that big camp up. That's like your best tool, right? And we see him pulling small here already. Like, I think he kind of he cucked himself a little bit, to be honest. I don't understand the sentry block, but
And is the tri-lane going well? I mean, they haven't been able to really touch Yuar too much. He's chilling. Punlo, Shadow Disruption into Impale is not going to be a huge amount of damage, so looks like they brought Milan back. So Milan, he picks up level 2 in the top lane, and then it's like, okay, now I can be here.
which is also interesting because I don't know if he does a lot down here.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they're thinking they can just kill, like with the earlier level 2s, but I don't know. I feel like you just destroy this Darkseer in the 2v1. Or like maybe what he would do is okay if he ganked mid, because mid would be the snowball lane, but I don't think it's doable this game, because it's a Kunkka versus Mars.
Yeah, double strength heroes, yeah.
Yeah, I think they should have just played top different, and just played it to like destroy this guy, instead of pulling and then just leaving.
They're gonna
Because
roll
now
in.
the Darkseer is pretty chill.
They got the Disruption to dodge some of the spin damage, and Costabile might be able to get out as a result. Milan tries to go for a body block, but it doesn't actually work. And
Yeah,
Yuar's
Yuar's
actually
dead.
the one who's going to die instead. Okay.
This is
Maybe.
where I don't think these codes can work.
Yeah. You said the aggro Chine lane isn't going to pressure like that well, and Quincy crew can chill, and then they come down here and they try and fight. They immediately lose. Double kill for Husky. Combined with a
Paws on their ass
first
too. what a G. So I was actually about to say, like, I feel like what's gonna happen is QC's gonna go on them and then they're gonna die in return. Because I don't think their spells are not a not high enough burst where they kill through the magic sticks, and this Wraith King's pretty tanky. And then the way Dire Heroes function on this lane is if Radiant uses this spin or these spells and they can turn on the Jug, it's like the ideal scenario for them because they just get to chain stun him and they all three of them hit him, and this Jug doesn't have this spin to kind of like get out of there, you know?
Yeah.
So when Yawar commits in like that, it's pretty spooky. Like you have to kill this Wraith King or he's gonna die. Which is what happened. And this is like kind of it's like salvaging Dire's laning phase in a way. Because you're giving, I mean, one, you're giving levels to these two subs who are stuck on a tri-lane who need levels really bad. So the worst thing you can do is give them kills or like some huge big camp stack pull. But the other thing it's doing is this Darkseer, he gets free levels. Like maybe he's not out farming this Veno. He'll still lose the 1v1 in terms of CS at this point, but he's like free farming levels wise, which I mean if you're a Darkseer, that's kind of all you care about.
Yeah. You just want those higher levels of Ion Shell that inherently speeds up your farm anyway, so you can always recover if you do end up in a bad laning phase as long as you get those levels.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this hero's strength is pretty predominant on his spells interacting with his teammates anyway. Like his items are kind of who cares, you know?
Yeah, especially nowadays that like Guardian Greaves is not considered a great item. Nobody goes pipe. Crimson Guard's very rare, I would say. So like all those traditional teamfight items. Nowadays people go like the Orchid, Ag, Shard build, right?
Orchid?
Ooh, that's a good, yeah, you haven't seen that?
I guess I have, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's going to be that common and competitive.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
I understand it conceptually. I mean, I think the best items on this hero are his Ags and Shard, like in terms of overall game. But if you could still get an early mech or hood and stuff like this, I mean, they're still very strong time items.
Yeah.
But quick kill on this Nyx. I mean, his lane's pretty far up, so this Wraith King he kind of got given a bit, but he's doing the best of anybody, which is like pretty insane. Because I don't think their trialing was that strong, and kind of got gifted some kills. Like he's already level 4.5 in a trialing for a carry. That's pretty good at 5 minutes. I mean, Radiant needs to be careful when they go like this. This Nyx is also shelled.
Oh yeah, he is. Doesn't matter though. They're still trying to go on Z-Freak. A little bit split up right now, but this is all happening. And Costa Bela is just still sitting in the lane, right next to his tower, denying creeps. Yeah, he's very happy.
This is like the catapult timing. See if they can make anything of it. Like, I could see Mars come down here with this Kata and Wraith King Skellies for the arena. But, and it might be too hard to make some aggressive play when this Kunkka can just TP, turn things around.
Iwara comes forward immediately. Costa Bela is like, okay. Punishes him a little bit with the skeletons. Bounty Rune time. Husky is going to suicide to try and pick up the Bounty Rune, but Ponlo actually snatched it away from him thanks to the cookie stun.
Leave off the corpse, Mortimer. We're after more than a dime.
Yeah, he gets earn charges off that too, so it's a pretty nice kill. And they're going to go with this Kata mid. So some nice moves. This Mars is going to get his 6 off this.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And Nyx is setting up top. I mean, this mid tower is going to take a lot of damage here.
Radiant are scanning.
It seems like Quincy crew is kind of winning the catapult setup with 2 lanes pushing in with a catapult, but they're going to get on top of Kezu with an Invis rune and an Ion Shell. And how long is it going to take for Kezu? Oh, he's going to notice now. He's like, surely he's going to notice, like, wait a minute, my HP's dropping way too low. And Invis Nyx assassin at 7 minutes is not what you're expecting, but got a little lucky with the Invis rune pickup.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's any other rune that gets them that kill there, but it's honestly a pretty big kill. It's like super salvaging for this Nyx's game. And it gives Darkseer a lot of space in a matchup that he was getting pretty destroyed in. As most, like, almost any melee hero is going to get destroyed by Veno on a pure one-on-one.
Yeah.
But overall, like, its early game, I think, is going pretty decent for Dire, considering the hero matchups and how I think the lanes could have gone for them. Like, I honestly think they're kind of happy with what's happening. They're okay with this type of game that's a little bit more staticky at the start. Like, if things aren't snowballing or they aren't in a bunch of random skirmishes and that kind of stuff, I think they're pretty happy with it. Especially Costability. Because he's just... I mean, Yawar's jungling with Spin, and he's just free-farming lane with Wraith King, so he's like Omega chilling down here.
Yeah, which means eventually he'll start pushing the tower even more. Spear back disruption. They do land the boat onto Z-Freak, though. He gets a little bit low, but they don't have quite enough damage unless the cookie. Ponlo shoots him. Z-Freak pops his stick, and that's going to be enough to be able to stay alive. Venomancer actually cutting in is going to make sure the Gunner dies. Gunner last effort to be able to kill Quinn, but not quite good enough there.
I mean, Bo doing insane work in that fight.
Yeah.
It's 4 heroes on that rune. Who even got the rune? What even was there?
Arcane rune for Ponlo?
Yeah. So neither mid even got the rune, but...
Yeah. Yeah, you could definitely see the Coco's rum buff against a burst-oriented hero like Mars. He's not super happy about that.
Yeah, he has to be able to survive a very long time, which, I mean, the disruption helped. They dodged most of both damage, but Veno just came in and... I mean, he didn't talk about it too much, but this Veno hero, he scales a bit different now with the new percentage ult than he used to in some of the older patches, so... I was talking about, like, Zoomer's late game is pretty good, but this hero, honestly, is pretty formidable late game now versus what is basically 3 strength melee heroes. I mean, Darkseer's kind of a weird one, right? He's, like, int, but he has, like, a 3 strength gain, and he gets pretty beefy, so... He's gonna ult some cores this game, basically. There's no way to avoid it. And this is a nasty spell now. So... It's a spell definitely to look out for as this game goes on.
Damn, that's wild. They couldn't actually rotate, but they took away Reincarnation. Top lane, they're going to go for Kezu here. This is what 4Zoomers was setting up the entire time. They kill the Venomancer. They're going to be able to get the Earth Spirit as well. UR's left not much to be able to spin on. Maybe they'll get Z-Freak, but ultimately it's a 2-for-2 trade-off. They also at the same time win on Costability, bottom lane, and I thought they were going to kill him twice. Oh, nice spear timing there. That would have been 100% a death. Gunner may still die. In fact, he will. Good shots from Ponlo with Mortimer's kisses.
Interesting. Quinn's able to defend bottom. Moo's going to TP down here, so they really want to... I mean, this Kunkka's completely alone. He should not be able to get out here. I don't think Radiant has any TPs.
Yeah, he showed he doesn't have TPs, and there was just a bunch of heroes top lane. So Quinn, I think, knows he's kind of screwed right now. If they find him.
Kind of a misplay by Quinn, honestly. We'll see what happens, but he should just go down here.
Yeah. He's got bad rotation, greedy, trying to keep that safe lane tower alive, and as a result, he'll die. The tower's still gonna fall. They are going to trade off towers. UR is able to push that, and Kezu is getting some damage on mid.
This is like the weird part of the game, where on Veno you kind of have to figure out what you want to do, because your carry goes into the offlane and you take this tower, and if you're not the one invading the enemy jungle and then kind of keeping top in, taking their jungle farm and splitting the map that way, you kind of get stuck in mid. And this can be like a super weird position for Veno if the enemy isn't willing to just go on him.
So Liquid's answer to this when they were playing with Koifa and offlane, and he would do Venomancer, they would play this offlane Venomancer, but he would rotate to the safe lane, and he would take over the triangle. If he could take the offlane tower, then he would just camp himself in the enemy triangle.
Yeah, that is another option. I think it's probably better than just being mid. But it's super dependent on how easy it is for the enemy to go on you. You know, like if they just have some storm or something, it's probably too greedy.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, this type of stuff is great for him. He gets involved in these skirmishes. Like they find Moo in the jungle, find Nyx, chase him down. Like this is what I mean. Veno's, you know, he's highest net worth on his team. He wants to use it for something. So now he is in this enemy triangle, which is I'd even say you block some of this up. Yeah, he blocks the hard camp.
Yeah.
Now he's going back towards mid. This is all space for Jug, who's going to accelerate off this.
He's just going to keep chipping away at that mid tower with some wards. And 4Zoomers are just going to have to deal with this constant irritation that Venomancer provides.
Yeah, now the thing about this is you either have a hero who can jump him, or you kind of have to devote a smoke if you want to kill him. Like, you smoke around so this Mars can close the gap and just arena spear him.
Right.
And he will die. It's not like they can't kill him, but it's a question of what happens afterwards, because you go on this guy, he's pretty tanky, 1500 HP with a hood. He's probably going to get his spells off. And then you're going to get rolled on, you're going to get Snapfire ulted, you're going to get Jug Kunkka TP'd in. Like, that's the problem. So, Quinn gets his TP canceled bottom. It's pretty nice. But that's just the annoying thing about this Veno, is if he can't just get, like, soft jumped and burned a bit, he's just, there's no way to go on this guy and have it be profitable.
Yeah.
So they have to either find other places to attack on the map, or, like I said, you take some smoke, like, be prepared to 5v5 that.
See Milan's playing close just in case, making sure nobody can ramp on the Venomancer easily. Even went for the 175 talent instead of maxing out his wards first, making him just that much tankier. 1500 HP with Strength Treads and a range drop and Hood of Defiance active. That is going to be a hard hero to burst.
And that circlet, don't forget that circlet. Extra value. But yeah, he's tanky.
They just bring both cores over to finish off the mid tower. 4Zoomers just gotta keep farming up the side lanes, it looks like. Alright, with the Blink Dagger on Costa, maybe they can put a stop to this Venomancer encroaching on their territory a little bit more. I mean, that's what you gotta do, right? You gotta put some threat, some fear of God into this Venomancer, otherwise he's just gonna keep going and going. Ult goes down, you are. Kills Husky and Spin, TP's out, they've got nothing to stop it.
A lot of reactions force, but kind of a weird chase down by QC. I feel like they almost gave up some map control, but it's a weird time. I mean, Yalwar's gonna get to shove this bottom lane all the way back. He's pretty happy. I think the early blink, I mean, he has level 2 ult. He's pretty farmed. It does help them jump this Veno, but again, I don't know if jumping Veno is ever going to work out for them. And like here, I mean, this is just like way too greedy by Z-Freak. You know they're going to have sentries in mid. Like, you just can't look. And again, even if he goes on this Veno, and there's a Wraith King blink follow-up, this guy's not getting burst. And then you're just stuck in a terrible fight. So I think they should just kind of ignore him and play the side lanes. Like, get the side lanes in. You have Darkseer who's going to always be able to play one. And you should play, like, your Shadow Demon Mars on the other. So Wraith King can support one of the two he chooses. And look for the side lane picks while his Veno's kind of stuck mid immobile.
Yeah. It's kind of awkward that they have Juggernaut as well, that they can't do anything about. So it's like Venomancer and Juggernaut are both, like, going to be able to sit in a lane. And you don't feel super confident about going on either one of them.
Yeah. But they can bait stuff out. Like, these goes bottom, I think, are actually decent fights for Dire. Yeah, this type of thing.
Kiss is raining in. Nice disruption save. Costa trying to burn out his first life here and finish off at least one hero. Does get Milan before he goes down. Moo right in the mix of everybody here. But doesn't feel comfortable chasing them down, so instead they turn around and kill Ponlo. So the two cores of Kezu and Yawar will be able to back out safely.
Yeah, that type of thing is the type of fight Dire wants, because Kunkka can't even get there. He's the highest rating net worth hero. He has early BKB. He can't even join that fight. And it's, again, this type of fight where, like, the Jug has to spin early, and then he has to run, because he can't commit. And the Wraith King will always be able to, you know, he'll burn his first life, but it's a level 2 ult, he doesn't care too much. And they get a free fight for Darkseer. So it's a type of fight that Dire should be looking for, I think. But it's just hard, because, like, they feel like they're losing map control, and they feel like they're getting out farmed, even if it's not as drastic as maybe it like feels to them, so they kind of feel pressured that they have to be the ones doing something. But a
Mhm.
lot of times in Dota, even if you're the team that has to do something to change the course of the game, you kind of have to do it in the right way. Like you can't just
Dire's middle tower
force it.
is
Oh,
under
we need to
attack.
fight because we're losing map control. So you go force some fight, and then you take a bad fight, and then you lose even more. Then you're in an even
Right.
worse position. You know, like you kind of have to toe the line and get it at like just the right place on your ward where they overextend just a little bit. Uh, which I don't think it's easy. I think like
Dire's middle
that's
tower
what's really
is
cool
under
about
attack.
watching really good teams is even when they know they have to fight, they find a way to get a favorable fight from a behind position, which is probably like the hardest thing to do in Dota. So
They
that's like
now have BKB on Venom Answer, so that hard fight that you're talking about is even harder.
he pops a smoke though,
Oh,
gets out.
all right,
It's
just
very
blinks
nice.
through the river. This is not a good feeling as Nyx Assassin when you are vendetted watching an enemy carry farm.
Got that healing ward though, 75 gold.
You got something out of it. That's true. Well, most of the time, you just sit there and watch, and all you get is experience for the entire play.
They have an 8 there on Shadow Demon, and they almost have this. I guess they're smoking. So
Yeah.
I guess they feel that Deso is
Middle
just too
tower
far away.
is under attack.
Yeah, they just picked up pipe for Darkseer with the Aether that you're talking about for the Shadow Demon. They're just
Yeah.
like, okay, we've hit enough timings. We should try and do something here.
BKB on the Mars as well, which makes him pretty tanky. It helps him ignore a lot of this magic damage. And we didn't talk about it, but Radiant's lineup is 90% magical outside of some Juggernaut right clicks.
True.
So
yeah.
this early pipe in BKB, you're pretty formidable. I mean, you're not dying it.
Problem's just going
Get
to be
the
like
clipboard.
catching these heroes, right, and forcing them to fight. Because Quincy Guru wants to be able to
Wants to.
just play an in and out sort of game, right?
Kind of. I actually think this part of the game is a little awkward for them to fight just because,
Under attack.
like, they have their BKBs, but it's like I said, Dire's their EHP went up a lot in the last minute or two with this pipe and BKB just because of how magic damage reliant QC is, like, right now. In 10 minutes, it won't be as big an issue because Kunkka's going to have an AC and the Jug will get, like, his third item. But at this kind of next 4 or 5 minute interval, it is probably the best time for Zoomers to find something. So, but like you said, can they? Quinn's getting found. Does
Oh,
not get his
Quinn!
BKB off.
He didn't pop his BKB just yet, but I guess he's still tanky enough to survive through this, and with a double damage he popped, they gotta be a little bit careful. He's gotta back away. Gunner, hoping to be able to catch him with the arena. Didn't quite get him. Will manage to find Ponlo with a spear instead, so it's probably a dead support here. Kezu still holding on to his ultimate here. Waiting it out.
Racing
Supposed
still
to
has
be
another
nice.
life.
Yeah, he's feeling fine. He survived through an Omni Slash and still has that second life, like you said. He wants to hold on to it, though.
I mean, we saw how tanky they are in that fight. Like, I mean, Quinn's pretty tanky too. This is a game of the tanks. Kind of like who will get the damage to be able to pierce through it first.
Yeah.
I could also see QC just forcing the Roche here. Because Veno, it's extremely hard for Zoomers to fight into the Veno Roche pit.
Yeah.
And this Jug will do it pretty fast. I mean, they're doing it pretty fast. It's probably just gone. Like, the Darkseer doesn't have wall. There's no BKB or arena on Mars. It's a pretty nice Rose call.
I could see the, you're talking about how tanky they are. And if you add in the Aghanim Scepter of Darkseer, like that'll actually just add so much effective HP with the BKBs and the pipe. So if they can get to that point, that'll feel fantastic. But this next 5 minutes might be rough.
I mean, that's another reason why I think Ags is the best item on this hero in terms of, like, impact. Obviously, it doesn't mean you just rush it every game, but the amount that this item does on this hero is just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Like, because it's almost never the case that this Ags doesn't benefit from your other items as well, which is also what makes it so good. Because Darkseer is a hero, when he adds that HP, when he adds like extra shells and duration, then it makes all of your shell talents better, makes all of your EHP items better, like pipe, right? That's like Another reason Simon's free. Triple torrent.
3-man torrent into a huge Tidebringer splash that does a ton of damage. 4Zoomers, they're going to be in an awkward spot when they come back on the second life. As Costabile, he's immediately going to be poisoned. They're going to be able to X him as well, pull him back in. There's no way out of this one. He's going to try and go for a TP out. Do they have a stun? Oh, they do not. No stuns left after X marks the spot was used. Quinn's hoping to be able to grab Moo, so maybe they get that kill instead. But similar situation. Yeah, similar situation. You just TP out.
Dude, he almost would have died without that point boost. That would have been next level play, but they get all their cores out. Pretty crazy. Because that's like an Aegis fight, Radiant.
Yeah.
Just too much like garbage in the way, you know? this wall and back and arena and all this crap.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, just nice TP recognitions, I guess. Something else is the Veno illusion off the wall. It's like super annoying.
Oh yeah. Yeah, in general, this arena wall combination is kind of scary. Just something to be able to keep people around the illusions that are spawned from the wall.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you get stuck in that as a support, your fight's like over positioning wise. I mean, you might be able to just sit there and not die, but like, there's gonna be a bunch of shells. There's like some random poisons going through. You know, you're probably dead if you get caught in that as the subs on Radiant.
Radiant's top tower is
And yeah, this Veno illusion, it's like Undying illusion. These weird illusions, you don't think of the slow auras or like spells when they hit you, and then they hit you, and you're like, all right, get me out of this game.
Oh, so the Flesh Golem, when he pops his ultimate, it applies that
Undying
slow on
destroyed.
illusion? Oh my
Undying
God.
gets destroyed by wall. If you ever get walled as an Undying and the thing insta punches you, you're just done.
Oh no.
Because you get like you get chain slowed off the wall and the illusion, right?
Yeah.
So you're like ultra slowed. You just can't even move. It's insane.
I knew about the Venomancer one, but I guess I never thought about Flesh Golem working that way. That's
yeah,
funny.
I feel like it's not an interaction that's easy to think about, and I've like every time I play that matchup, I remember it, and I'm like, oh, you actually have to not pop Flesh Golem. Like you actually have to wait until you get the Illu and then pop it, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, Moo with another close TP out, and they catch Xiaowar.
Okay, you are spin. He's got to get out of here. Oh, he does not recognize the danger he's in. He
Has
immediately
Aegis.
is going to be losing his Aegis. Oh, no, he actually got off the Omni Slash on the first life.
Is that good?
I don't know. Because if 4Zoomers can win this second part of the fight, then he's going to be in trouble. They immediately get the stun on him, but it looks like
Backup's
Zoomers
coming.
is a little bit too scared. There's too much damage. Oh, look at these shots. Mortimer's Kisses found out the heroes hiding in the trees. They're going to be able to take the first life of the Wraith King, and the Shadow Demon is going to be caught and killed in this corner. Costabile's not going to be able to make it back home. He is stuck good in the muck and mire of this top level jungle, and Quincy crew is going to be able to go straight for high ground push.
This is just a Rax, I think. No Wraith King for 40. No wall, no vac. What a weird fight.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
They were so close to the Aghanim Scepter on Darkseer, too.
Dire's top barracks.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Zoomers felt like it was super good because Moo got this TP out bottom. There were 2 heroes on him, so they get this 5v3. And they get this free Aegis kind of joke ult burn, but Quincy able to get up there fast enough, blink on Kezu, and the Earth Spear can roll. So they actually got up there, like, I think faster than Zoomers were expecting them to, and then yeah, they just don't have enough sustain to take that fight. Their big fight is this arena and this vac, right? When those spells are down, it's pretty hard for Zoomers to control people. So I don't need to play around those, but they do have this Ags now. Pretty big.
Dire's middle
Got the
tower
Ags.
has
They still
fallen.
need a bit more time for BKB on Costabile. Nice
don't
kick
want in.
back.
I
Gonna
don't
be
know
able
if
to
this
maybe
is the
catch
fight.
Moo, but yeah, it's looking a little bad for the supports, that's for sure. Ponlo's now dead. The spin is out. They do manage to get a disruption to be able to buy Moo a little bit more time. He's got Surge, but is stunned for too long due to a well-timed roll-in from Mulan.
Alright, so that wasn't... I thought that was going to be actually worse for QC there, but I guess like they have some extra sustain. This healing ward is also pretty nice in this game. You think about who on Zoomers is killing this healing ward. I feel like a lot of these fights we've seen this thing just keep the subs alive a lot longer than they normally would.
Yeah.
So something else that is kind of deceptive or You don't see a lot, but Yawar has his full Scotty now. He's a beast, and QC's pulling away with this game in terms of net worth, so Zoomers has to find something good here in the next couple minutes, or I think it's getting closed out.
Radiant are scanning.
Well, they might be able to find a small pickoff here. Z-Freak is going to spot Ponlo soon, or not. Ponlo actually hiding in the trees here, and now the rest of the team to the rescue.
Pay the price?
Yeah, he's got tumbler spoil. I was hoping to see if he could hop over a cliff somewhere, but I don't think that's an option. As
he's living.
They just need the vision. The tower shots are gonna kill him. Oh no. Well, created a little space, I guess. They've got.
You got the Chrysalis on the courier, so 2K gold. Quinn's missing.
I mean, if they can get I was gonna say shard for Darkseer's got to feel pretty good here. They're lacking a BKB disable, and just another illusion of Venomancer or Juggernaut is gonna feel nice.
Does it stop like a spin TP?
I thought it did, but I could be wrong. I thought it just worked like Walrus Punch, but I'm not a Darkseer player, to be honest.
I'm not sure if the stun goes through. Like, the rest of it will go through, but it might not actually stun him. Maybe I'm just bad, but
I would trust your judgment, because again, I don't play Darkseer, so.
I mean, that if it's like the Walrus Punch, then it for sure just stuns him. But something's telling me it might not. I'm not sure.
Dire's bottom tower is
I don't know.
under
There's too many
attack.
spells in Dota. Nobody can know all this shit, you know.
Yeah, it's true.
You just trust your offlaner knows it. Alright.
Yeah. You gotta go with the refresher build on Mars. Kind of standard. Costabile is looking at, I'm not sure exactly. He's got Orchid, he's gonna go full out Bloodthorn. Is that the right build?
Dire's bottom tower is
I don't
under
know. That
attack.
seems kind of weird, but I guess it's kind of like, what else does he go? Just once he needs to do a lot of damage, and I guess doesn't feel like AC's providing enough value in this game. It's just too much magic damage. So like, what's gonna help him jump a target and burst and fast like this Veno or something? I mean,
I have
there's
not
a lot
seen
of BKBs.
an AC on Wraith King in so long. I was watching like Wraith King versus Lifestealer matchup the other day. I think it was China or something. And I was like, oh, maybe he'll go AC or something. And it's like, they never go AC. Everyone's just all about the burst damage on Wraith King. That's all they care about.
I mean, it kind of makes sense because you're playing off this crit spell, right? And this spell is not a normal crit. It's like a 4-second crit. So attack speed isn't really using your spells that well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like changed this hero from the old like AC Mjolnir type builds to more of like these almost, I don't want to say Sven, but if you think of like a Sven type hero, get in and you're gonna hit a guy like 3 times, and you need to make sure those 3 hits are as hard as they can be.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Mood didn't just punch Yawar there, so that makes me think maybe he doesn't know it goes through BKB or it doesn't. But
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
yeah, I mean, this is the Ag Shard timing on Darkseer, and again, they're down a lot, but their spells are strong, so it's a question of, like, can they get the proper jump in terms of who they go on, setting the fight up well for this Vac into
Radiant's middle tower is
sustaining,
under attack.
because they're not going to burst. I don't think they're going to burst any of these cores.
Yeah.
They're just way too tanky. There's going to be a healing ward, and it's going to be like a cookie, some random Earth Spirit spells, so they're going up high ground.
Oh no, they're gonna break the smoke onto the low ground. They are gonna be able to at least get the stun onto Quinn and immediately jump onto Kezio, but not quick enough. He gets off the Poison Nova and may still escape, in fact. He's gonna be able to walk away from these melee heroes. Moo trying to surge away from Yawar. Yawar trying to keep pace, but it looks like he may have lost him. Moo actually, he's gonna run out of the surge, turns around. Yawar eventually does catch up. Back over to the rest of the team fight. They did manage to kill Quinn, and they're all in for the buybacks now. They have to win this part of the fight. Nice spear, found the lone tree sitting there. But these
So
poisons,
many
these
plague
wards, the wards are everywhere, and they're slowing down everyone. Costabile is going to lose his first life, and the rest of his team are struggling to be able to help him out here as they're just spread across the map. Gunner is super low, trying to get himself away, but Milan chases him down eventually. It looks like Milan will trade his life, but happily for a core. Costabile was able to walk out away from the Venomancer. So it looks like eventually Quincy Crew lost the engagement, the second part of the engagement, but ultimately they got a bunch of buybacks out of 4Zoomers.
Yeah, triple buyback, right? We saw the... So hard to see these. I wish it was easier, but I'm pretty sure it was Darkseer. I guess I can just check. I don't know why I'm like questioning. But yeah, Darkseer and Mars. And the Shadow Demon bought back as well, but his is kind of whatever. But they get the double core buyback. And yeah, I was going to say, Costability has to man up and take this Roche here. They have to get some transactional value for all these buybacks in the fight they won. If they don't get this, it's going to be... It's like, you know, now you're just getting racks by an Aegis Juggernaut and the game pretty much ends.
Yeah.
So I think this is the correct call, but QC is respawning here.
Yeah, it's going to be close. Quincy Crew. They could try getting in there now. Oh, you are. Doesn't actually hop over to the other side of the pit. Kezu gets in there, though. Aegis on the ground. Kezu grabs it. Kezu snatches that away from 4Zoomers, and now it's going to be 4Zoomers trying to run away, but they needed that extra life so badly. Costabile cannot afford to die a second time here. He's going to go for the TP out. The damage is close. Not quite good enough, so they do manage to TP Costabile out, but as you said, they used all those buybacks. They had to get something for it. They needed that Aegis, and it doesn't end up in their hands. Kezu takes the Aegis away from them.
Just too slow. Makes you think if they had just insta-gone in the pit, like, you know, just man up and do it earlier. They kind of went back to their base to clear some waves and then go.
Yeah.
Those little timing intervals that cost you. Now, here's just this high ground push. It's probably gaming, to be honest, because I don't think they're going to be able to repel this into the Aegis. And
yeah, especially if they get more pickoffs before the heroes are actually up. And that's going to be Moo now dead for 80 seconds.
So it was pretty, I don't want to say clean, but it was a pretty convincing game from QC, I'd say. Yeah. Outside of the laning phase. I think the laning phase was kind of disastrous for them in a way. Like, it doesn't look like that in the networks, and it's not like some GG thing, but I think overall with like how the drafts are set up, and how the lanes could have gone for them, it was one of the worser scenarios. But I don't know, they kind of just felt like it's too hard for Zoomers to fight. Big Omni.
Now we're seeing the outcome. Omni, Swift Slash, double kill, going for a third inside of the fountain before the throne explodes. Well played. You are into it on a triple kill, and as you said, I mean, the laning phase definitely could have gone better for them. I'm not sure about the decisions being made there for the tri-lane, but ultimately they managed to make it work when it counted right, which was that like sort of 15 to 25 minute. They just grew such a large lead playing around this Venomancer.
Yeah, I mean, Venom is just a beast this game. I mean, it goes back to what we talked about in the draft. Like, who is dealing with this hero without getting ulted and Gale? And if any of Zoomer's cores get ulted and Gale, it's like, you know, they wish they had the Juggernaut healing ward. They needed some spell like that to keep their cores in the fight, but just way too obnoxious. And I guess it's first phase Kunkka just, I don't know. It's like first phase Kunkka and he's first pick Mars, and then they end up laning against each other mid. I can understand the idea of going for this Darkseer audible. Like, I think it's powerful, but then you kind of just end up with this mid Mars who I don't really feel like he did anything this game.
Yeah, I was gonna say the exact same thing, that like when it came to the differences between the first phase picks and the two cores match up against each other, I don't know. I don't want to see Gun or Mars again for game 2. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Don't show me that. Show me his Ember Spirit, his Storm Spirit. Give me something flashier. And also, like, what do you do with Mars at a certain point? Right? I remember the mid Mars that would go Yules to dumpster these like Void Spirits and Ember Spirits and stuff, and like that was a nice sort of thing. But nowadays they don't go that. They go BKB and just, I don't know, straight for a refresher. It just feels like there's not a ton of options going late.
I think you kind of have to go this right-click build now. Like you get like BKB Blink AC Deso and hope you can get there, Satanic. Uh, but it's pretty hard. Mid Mars just has very weird flow. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't use runes that well compared to a lot of other mid heroes. He doesn't win his lane. He doesn't sustain that well in a lot of matchups. Like he gets harassed, because any range hero is gonna out harass him. And even this Kunkka match we saw mid, like Kunkka's out leveling him and winning the matchup and harassing him. So his move potential isn't super high. It's kind of obvious when he moves. The hero just doesn't have a lot of flow. So I mean, whenever I picked it, it was kind of like you throw him there because you're getting some really good pick somewhere else. That's like the value you're hoping you're getting.
Sure.
Which in this game is the Darkseer. But then they didn't really have a good way to get this Darkseer going. And then it's also like Darkseer is a hero that he needs at least one of his other two cores to kind of play with, unless you have like Clockwork. Uh, I think Clock can do enough in the early game. You can kind of just shell Clock and he can go ham. But outside of that, you kind of want a core who can go in and start stuff. Like even like mid Earth Spear, for example, or like the Ember if it's a really good Ember lane, or like some hero like this. And he has like Mars Wraith King, kind of slow, kind of clunky, can't just start stuff. So it's weird. They're switching this Mars to mid to get this really good Darkseer tick, but then the fact that Mars is mid is kind of crippling their Darkseer's game as well. So it's like a catch-22.
Yeah. Well, rough one for Zoomers, though they are facing up against number 1 seeded team. We'll see if they actually prove to still remain the number 1 team in NA, but they at least look good for game 1. Apple Orange, can you display arrows and O's instead of hero icons? No, I'm going to keep it hero icons. I think it's better for a viewing experience for a majority of people. Obviously, some people really like to know what direction a hero is facing, but I feel like more so often it's easier to digest Dota when you could just look at the minimap and see what hero is where on the map.
I trust your judgment on that.
Which one do you have?
I mean, I have whatever the old school one is.
Yeah,
The non-hero faces.
Yeah, that's the non-heroes faces.
Which in theory is like way worse if you think about it, but I don't know. Pretty hard to get used to something.
Beyond the Summit uses arrows? That's good for BT. I'm not going to do it just because BTS does it that way. What do you want me to say? I think I think even playing, like I think there is advantages and disadvantages to both. But the amount of times that I see like high level players call like orange is top, and then they'll miss read like which hero that actually is. Like, I feel like I see that like a decent amount of time. So I think even at a high level, there's definitely an advantage to showing hero icons. But I think for spectating, it's like clearly better for hero icons.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I could see an argument either way for spectators. I mean, the hero icon's probably easier.
Yeah.
I think most times in like an actual game, you're probably just calling the hero going somewhere, and it's like not really based on the minimap, so it doesn't actually matter.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah, that does make sense.
it's like, oh, Storm's top, and you know Storm's top because you saw something that tells you Storm's top, not like you're watching the minimap and you see his icon up your top. Because by the time you see his icon up your top, your call is useless anyway.
That's true. That's true.
That's why I feel like a lot of times in an actual game, it doesn't really matter. But there's probably a bunch of pros out there who will say I'm completely wrong on that. And, if you put 10 professional players in a room, they would all think like at least 7 out of the other 9 hotkeys are terrible. So
Yeah. Dude, hotkeys
That's
are
what I
such a controversial subject in Dota. Like, I personally, like, there was this period of time, probably like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, where every single time I opened up the setting, there was like new things being added. You could put there were new hotkeys being, so now you have like certain parts of the map you can have a hotkey for, or like, and it just kept. There was they added directional move at some point in time, and there's so many. I was just like, I can't keep up with all this. You can't keep adding more buttons to my Dota game. I'm too old for this. I can't keep on adding more and more to the complexity of my hotkey layout.
Oh, come on, Cap. You got to keep up, man. Just drink a Red Bull. Snort a line. I don't know, whatever you do,
I was looking through my settings the other day to show off just that fact, and there's like so many things that just don't have a hotkey at all.
Wait, like what?
I don't think I have the map hotkeys. There was a period of time where I definitely tried to do that.
Oh, you mean like to go to an area?
Yeah, to go to
nobody uses that. Nobody uses that shit, man.
I feel like I've definitely watched a streamer who does. Some pro player.
I mean, I think a couple mids and carries use them, but
yeah, I think Arteezy uses it for the runes, where he
used to.
Oh, he used to.
I don't know if he still does. Like, I feel like I've watched his player perspective and I don't see as much, but maybe.
This is gonna take a long time to load anyway, so let me look through. All right. What don't I have? Voice party. Previous unit. There's one already.